Hi, welcome to Season 5, Episode 9 of Everyday NLP Bites. And I've entitled this season, What Are You Saying? Because my focus is on language. If you've not been watching or listening to earlier podcasts, my name is Florence Madden. I'm an NLP trainer and coach based in Cumbria in the north of England. I'm also the author of The Intention Impact Conundrum and the co-author of Everyday NLP. So, as I've said, I am focusing on language patterns. These are everyday language patterns that we can use without even noticing. And yet, often, this way of speaking can have perhaps a detrimental impact on ourselves or in our communications with other people. So, it's useful to start to notice these and maybe more specifically, notice when it matters and when it doesn't. In the last podcast, I was looking at what I called fat words. Words like improvement or communication or relationship or education that we use, as I say, every day. But how people might interpret those words is really quite different. Carrying on with that theme, I am looking today at a couple of different language patterns, starting with one where we use everyday words and phrases that are very non-specific, in NLP referred to as unspecified verbs. Now, some examples of these are when somebody tells us to sort ourselves out, when somebody says, oh, that person is doing my head in, or my personal favourite, which I once saw on an appraisal, which is asking a person to run a tight ship. Now, as I mentioned before, sometimes these things matter and sometimes they don't. If you put them into an organisational context, then very often they do matter. So if you're looking to manage someone's performance, you're looking to give somebody some feedback or to set objectives, using this type of language can lead to a lot of misunderstanding. And moreover, there's a temptation, isn't there, because they are such common phrases, that we go along with them. So somebody says to you, you need to sort yourself out. You go, yeah, I got you. Or somebody says, you need to run a tight ship. You go, yeah, fair point. Or that person is doing my head in, and they go, yeah, it's a real problem, isn't it? In all three of those situations, then the person is, well, interpreting, but maybe not necessarily interpreting what you meant. So the question is to really say to somebody when they use phrases like that, in those times when it matters, what specifically or how specifically do you want me to sort myself out? How specifically is that person doing your head in? Or how specifically do you want someone to run a tight ship? The author of Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton, once said that to apply general rules to specific problems is to fail. And I say particularly in organizational life, then being non-specific can lead someone or ourselves to fail. On other occasions, we delete even more. We leave out words when we're speaking. And some examples of this are, I'm unhappy. I want you to send me the report. I want you to go to the meeting. I didn't like some parts of the presentation. In all of those phrases, there is information deleted. And in NLP Meta Model, these are referred to as simple deletions. Because to the person saying them, It is obvious what meeting, what report, what parts of the presentation. But to the person on the receiving end of those statements, it calls for a bit of mind reading. Now, they might mind read and get it right. On the other hand, they might mind read and find themselves wasting a great deal of time getting it wrong. So once again, it's a call to be specific. Which meeting? Which report? What parts of the presentation? Or what is it specifically that you're unhappy about? Now, I recognize that sometimes our mind reading is because we want to appear willing or that we're absolutely on it. Those good intentions can be lost if we end up doing the wrong thing. So if we're not being clear, then think about how we can be more specific. If someone else isn't being clear, then invite them to be more specific rather than mind read. But as with all the other patterns, it's about just paying attention and noticing these in the first place. I want to finish today on a quote from the actor Lily Tomlin, who said, "I always wanted to be somebody, but now I realized I should have been more specific." So thank you for watching or listening to this podcast. There'll be another one coming along next week. In the meantime, you can find out more about what I do on my website, which is www.florencemadden.co.uk. And you'll find information there about the courses that I run, face-to-face and virtual, as well as coaching and other services. Thank you again, and bye for now.